I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here I am. My name's Mike, and I've been with my wife, Lisa, for about 6 years now. We got married just a few months ago, and honestly, everything seemed perfect. Nice house, good jobs, a lot of plans for the future. I thought we were solid. But I guess I was blind because, looking back, there were little signs I totally ignored or brushed off. Lisa's always been a bit of a bitch, honestly. She's super manipulative, always putting on this innocent act, but I could tell she loved throwing fits if she didn't get her way. She's also really good at hiding her true feelings, smiling through her teeth, pretending to be sweet, but it's all just a mask. Still, I trusted her. She swore she was faithful, that she loved me, and I bought it. Or maybe I just wanted to believe it so badly I ignored all the warning signs. The first time I started getting suspicious was a few weeks ago. She was acting weird, canceling plans last minute, coming home late, and always with some excuse about work or catching up with friends. But she's always done that, so I didn't think much of it. Then I started noticing her phone ringing all hours, sometimes in the middle of the night, and she'd quickly hide it when I walked into the room. When I'd ask her about it, she'd brush me off, accuse me of being paranoid or insecure. That's when I started feeling uneasy, but I kept telling myself it was just my imagination. Fast forward to last weekend, and things got even messier. I was out for a run when I decided to swing by the hotel she'd mentioned last week. She'd said she was working late and staying over at a client's place. I figured I'd surprise her, maybe bring some dinner. I never got the chance because I saw her coming out of the hotel with this guy, who I recognized as my best man, Jason. My stomach dropped. I saw them kissing, fucking, making out like teenagers. They hadn't even noticed me watching. I froze there, just staring, my mind racing. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. That's when I got the full picture. I waited until I got home and then went through her phone. At first, I convinced myself I was wrong, that maybe I was overthinking. But then I found the messages, hours of flirting, secret plans, and the worst part, photos. Photos of her and Jason in that hotel room, trying to hide them, but I could see everything. Her in bed, him with his hand on her thigh, her smirking when she thought no one was looking. I couldn't believe she swore she loved me, that she'd never cheat, that she was faithful. All lies. It was a punch in the gut, harder than anything I've ever felt. I sat there in shock, trying to process what I'd just seen. My wife, the woman I trusted, the woman I married just a few months ago, she was cheating on me during our wedding reception in a hotel room with my best man. The worst part, she had the nerve to lie to my face about everything, swearing she was faithful, that I was imagining things, that I was overreacting. Yeah, right. I've never felt so betrayed in my life. It's like my whole world just flipped upside down in an instant. I mean, how do you even come back from that? After I found out about Lisa and Jason, I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there in the dark, staring at the phone, replaying everything I saw and read. It felt like my mind was in a constant storm, anger, sadness, betrayal, and some sick part of me that kept asking how she could do this to me, to us. I kept thinking about our wedding day, her vows, the promises she made, the way she looked me in the eye and swore she loved me. All bullshit. I knew I had to confront her. I couldn't keep pretending like nothing was wrong, like the woman I married wasn't out there screwing around with my best man. But I also knew that whatever I said, whatever I did, it wasn't going to be pretty. I was boiling inside, furious and hurt at the same time. Still, I needed answers, so I planned to confront her the next morning. When she woke up, I could see she was trying to act normal, fake smile, that overly sweet tone she always used when she was trying to manipulate. I looked straight into her eyes and told her I knew everything. Her face froze for a second, then she laughed, a sharp, dismissive laugh. "Oh, Mike, you're so paranoid. You're imagining things. I'd never do something like that." She lied so convincingly I almost believed her at first, but I didn't. I was done being played. She started crying, but it wasn't tears of remorse. It was more like she was annoyed that I'd caught her out. She swung her bitchy attitude around fast, insisting she was innocent, that I was just jealous or insecure. She called me paranoid, controlling. She said I didn't trust her, like I was the one at fault. I just looked at her, seething. I told her I wasn't stupid, that I'd seen enough. She kept denying everything, trying to gaslight me, but I wasn't buying it anymore. That confrontation turned into a shouting match. She yelled at me, saying I was overreacting and that I was ruining everything because of my insecurities. She even said that she deserved better than a jealous husband who couldn't trust her, that I was just insecure because I wasn't satisfying her anymore. That hit hard. I realized how selfish she was, how she lied, cheated, and then tried to make me feel guilty for catching her. That was the moment I realized I'd married a liar, a manipulator, someone who doesn't care about our vows or what they mean. I felt my chest tighten, and honestly, I was on the verge of losing it. I wanted to scream, to punch something, but I just stood there, cold and numb. I told her I was done with her lies, that I needed some space, that I was going to think about everything. I left the house and went for a drive, trying to clear my head, but all I could think about was her and Jason in that hotel, breaking my heart. I never thought I'd feel such a deep pain, such a crushing sense of betrayal, and I wondered how I'd ever trust anyone again. That drive didn't help much. I kept circling the same thoughts in my head, how she could have lied so easily, how Jason, my supposed best man, could do this to me. I kept replaying the images, her smiling at me during the wedding, the vows we made, and then seeing her in bed with him like some cheap affair. The worst part, she swore she loved me, swore it in front of everyone. That kind of betrayal cuts deep, and I felt like I was bleeding inside. By the time I got back home, I knew I needed to do something. I couldn't just sit there and let this ruin me, though honestly, I felt like I'd already lost a part of myself. My mind was racing, and I realized I couldn't just go on pretending everything was okay. I needed to figure out my next move. And quickly. I started thinking about revenge. Not just some petty revenge, but something that would really hit her where it hurts. I've always believed in taking control of your life when someone screws you over, and Lisa was no exception. I decided I'd ruin her, make her see that no one betrays me and gets away with it. I wanted her to feel the same pain I was feeling, maybe even worse. My plan was to expose her secrets, her lies, her manipulations, turn her world upside down. That night I dug through her stuff while she was out pretending everything was fine. Found her secret stash of messages on her laptop, photos, even some of her flirtatious texts to Jason. She'd been so careless. I also found her credit card statements, hotels, dinners, all the places she'd been sneaking off to. I saved everything knowing I'd need it. I wasn't just going to confront her again. I was planning something bigger. I wanted to make sure she paid for her betrayal. I stayed up late, planning my next steps. I decided I'd make her realize I wasn't the naive husband she thought I was. I'd call her out in front of her friends, her family, maybe even the world if I had to. I wanted her to feel the shame, to understand that her actions weren't going to stay hidden forever. I knew she'd lie, twist things around, try to manipulate her way out of it, but I was ready this time. Ready to show her that I wasn't just some fool who trusted blindly. I was done being the victim. Now I was going to be the one who took control. The next day I woke up with a clear plan in mind. I knew I had to confront Lisa again, but this time I wasn't going to hold anything back. I called her at work, told her I needed to talk, and told her to come home immediately. When she arrived, she had that fake innocent look on her face, like she thought I was just overreacting or maybe trying to scare her into confessing. But I wasn't buying her act anymore. I laid out all the evidence I'd collected, the hotel receipts, her sneaky texts, the photos she'd tried to hide. Watching her face twist in shock and anger was almost satisfying. She denied everything at first, said I was paranoid, that I was making it all up. But I just kept pushing. I told her I knew about her little secret world, that I had enough to make her pay for her lies. Her reaction was classic. She started crying, acting all innocent, claiming she'd been stressed, that Jason was just a friend, that she wasn't cheating on me. She tried to spin it, say she was confused, that she loved me and wouldn't do something so stupid. But I saw through her. It was all bullshit, just words to try and save her skin. The truth was in those photos and messages, and I wasn't going to let her twist her way out of this one. I told her I'd had enough, that I was going to be played like some fool anymore. I threw her out of the house, told her not to bother coming back until she was ready to be honest. I felt a strange mix of relief and anger. Relief because I finally knew the truth, anger because it was all so fucking painful. She left crying, calling me every name in the book, trying to guilt-trip me, but I didn't care. I was done listening to her lies. That night I stayed up again, planning how to expose her to everyone. I had decided I'd tell her family, her friends, anyone who needed to know what kind of person she really was. I wanted her to lose her false charm, her manipulation, her ability to lie so effortlessly. I also knew I had to protect myself emotionally, but I wasn't naive anymore. I was prepared to burn her world down if it meant I could finally be free from her lies. Honestly, I've never felt so betrayed and angry in my life. It's like she tore apart everything I thought I knew about her, about us. And now, I was just trying to find a way to pick up the pieces and move on, even if it hurts like hell. Over the next few days, I threw myself into gathering everything I needed to make sure Lisa couldn't worm her way out of what she did. I sent the photos and messages to her closest friends and family, people I thought should know the kind of person she really is. I wanted her to face the consequences of her betrayal, and I knew that hiding her behind her pretty face and fake tears wouldn't work anymore. She'd lied to everyone, and I was determined they'd see her for who she really was. Once I started exposing her, her reactions got even more manipulative. She called me crying, begging me not to ruin her life, saying she'd do anything to fix things. She swore she was sorry, that she loved me and it was all a mistake, that Jason was just a stupid fling she didn't think about. Classic. But I saw through it. I knew her game. She's always been good at spinning lies, making herself look innocent while she's doing the dirt behind the scenes. I told her I didn't believe her anymore, that her words meant nothing after everything I found. I also decided to confront Jason. I called him out directly, told him I knew what he'd done with my wife. His excuse was lame, saying it was just sex, that he didn't mean for it to get serious, that she was just bored and confused. Yeah, like that makes it better. I told him he was a traitor, a piece of shit, and that I was done with both of them. I told him if I ever saw his face again, it'd be in a fight, not just words. I didn't want to see him around my house anymore. He was dead to me now. Meanwhile, Lisa kept trying to manipulate her way out of it. She sent desperate texts, begged me for forgiveness, said she'd do anything to make it right. Just don't tell anyone, she said. But I wasn't falling for that anymore. I realized that her apologies were just words. She's a bitch, a liar, and I wasn't going to let her ruin my life anymore. I made up my mind. I was going to divorce her, cut my losses, and move on. I'd lost so much, but I couldn't keep living in her lies. That's when I started thinking about my next steps. I knew I'd have to face the fallout, her family, friends, everyone who adored her. But at this point, I didn't care. I wanted justice. No, I needed it. I wanted her to feel what I'd been feeling, humiliated, betrayed, broken. I wanted her to see that she couldn't keep lying and cheating her way through life without consequences. And honestly, even with everything that happened, I felt a strange sense of relief. I was finally taking control of this mess. It wasn't the ending I'd imagined, but it was the ending I needed to finally start healing. Now, looking back, I honestly don't know how I survived those days. The betrayal cut so deep I thought I'd never come out of it. But I did. I filed for divorce, and watching her scramble to save whatever was left of her reputation was almost satisfying. Like she finally got a taste of what it feels like when someone you trust completely just throws it all back in your face. Since then, I've been trying to rebuild. It's not easy. Every time I see a photo of her or hear her name, a rush of anger and disappointment hits me again. But I know I have to move on. I learned that trust is fragile, and when it's broken, it's almost impossible to repair. I also learned that some people, like Lisa, are just manipulative, selfish, and willing to betray everything for a quick sex hookup or a thrill. If I could give anyone advice after all this, it would be, don't ignore the signs. Don't dismiss your gut feelings even if it's uncomfortable. And if you find yourself betrayed in the worst way, don't waste your time trying to fix what's broken. Cut your losses, protect yourself. Because at the end of the day, you owe it to yourself to be happy, not to tolerate lies and betrayal from someone who clearly doesn't care. This whole experience has changed me. I don't trust easily anymore, and I'm more cautious about who I let into my life. But I also feel stronger. I know I'll get through this. Maybe one day I'll find someone who deserves me, who's honest and loyal. But for now, I'm just glad I saw the truth, even if it was brutally painful. Because now I know what I'm really worth, and I refuse to settle for anything less than honesty and respect.